I had a curious recurring interaction this week. Hey Yahtzee, are you playing Borderlands 4? Someone asks. Yes I am, I reply. How's it running for you? Comes the follow-up question. Like complete dog shit since you ask, I reply, and then a tangible sense of relief washes over us both. Phew, we don't need to buy a new graphics card or upgrade our drivers, or dig the worms out of our eyeballs that are making it look like the frame rate's dropping like globules of spunk from your mum's reading glasses. The game's just optimised for shit. And then a strange solidarity develops between us as we light-heartedly swap stories about our favourite bugs, and speculate on which specific parts of the game suffered the most from the impacts of Randy Pitchford's wildly swinging penis. The only thing that should be crashing to desktop this much is an office worker with narcolepsy, and when a video game world has bottomless pit hazards, it would be useful if the devs could remember to put kill boxes in those bottomless pits, so I don't find myself floating in mid-void under the map, kicking my little legs trying to bounce a grenade off an invisible wall in the hopes of ending my farce of a life. But yeah, Borderlands 4, bored of this bland snore, if you will. The latest installment in Gearbox's signature sci-fi FPS franchise that offers an idiosyncratic four-pronged experience. Shootin', lootin', hootin', and tootin'. Hooting meaning lots of very facetious quippy dialogue between wacky characters, and tooting meaning me reacting to all of said dialogue like it's a great big fart in my face. Actually, Borderlands 4 seems to have leaned slightly away from the wacky quippy thing, compared to Borderlands 3 at least. It's still got a lot of quipping, and it's still occupying some blasted comedy no man's land, but it's fucking Borderlands, you can't expect less. That would be like expecting a band from California to write a song that isn't about California for once. Having leaned slightly away from something, one might question what Borderlands 4 leans into instead, and the answer is nothing. Just sort of stick straight up now like a confused hand in a remedial classroom. See, I didn't want to dwell on the bugs and the shitty optimization because, as ever, that shit could hypothetically be fixed in post with some intensive patching and maybe finally getting around to Randy Pitchford's dick removal surgery. But when a game is on the high end of tech requirements, there's this tacit understanding that this is the price of living on the cutting edge of hot new games. And if Borderlands 4 is the cutting edge, it's going to result in a very disappointing birthday cake experience. All the frosting is going to get squeezed out the sides. Even while I'm hearing my computer fan roaring like the sustained scream of a kamikaze pilot, Borderlands 4 isn't doing much to show off the excessive power usage. Does it look nice? I guess. Not especially. Usual art style that looks like Fallout wiped its arse on the Mad Max Saturday morning cartoon. Does it have tons of exciting new features? It's got a contextual grappling hook. Hook being precisely the wrong word. You know what's depressing is that there was a time when this might have shivered me nads, but frankly Just Cause 2 pretty much did everything I wanted done with grappling hooks, and that was 15 Ferrero Rocher scoffing years ago. I suppose Borderlands 4 feels kinda new for a Borderlands game. Unfortunately, it would also feel very, very old for a Far Cry game. Is this all we are now, AAA games? The same toy box every few months with the content slightly rearranged? Things haven't been the same since you sanded down Lara Croft's tits. It starts out the usual Borderlands experience, pick one of 4 colourful loudmouth mercenaries introduced by an opening music video like Guy Ritchie got hired to adapt Masters of the Universe, but then the cast are imprisoned in a big seamless open world by a high-class villain who thinks we've got nothing better to do all day than listen to him gab off about the futility of our struggle in the face of his perfection, which is where the Far Cry comparison begins, although they seem to have forgotten the charismatic and competent parts of the standard Far Cry villain template. The world is divided between 3 areas, one of them's grassy, one of them's deserty, and the other one's snowy, obviously. What, you think your money warrants more creativity than that, you lowly worm? And of course each one is governed by one of the main villain's lead henchmen. One of them's the tough one of them's the smart one, and one of them's the mad one. Hey, it was the same deal with the 3 gods in Eternal Darkness, wasn't it? Boy, that was an interesting game. Let's dwell on those happier times for a moment. Of the 3 sub-bosses, 2 are actively working against the main villain, and the 3rd is so incompetent the big villain basically cheers you on while you're doing him in. Hey, thanks for reducing my Christmas present budget, and incidentally, you will never defeat me, bwahaha. So after I did defeat him in the big story climax after a short 2-phase exchange in which he decided to bring slow-moving triangle lasers to a gunfight, I said aloud, boy, from the way you were going on, I really thought that would be harder. Props for self-esteem, I guess. I should switch to your therapist. But I wasn't stupid. We still hadn't had a boss fight with the other dude who'd shown up as a surprise villain not long earlier and demonstrated incredible combat skills. So after skipping the credits roll, I was returned to gameplay in front of a big portal with the game going, hey, just walk through this door, nothing sus. And of course we get pulled into the cosmic realm where we fight the real final boss in space as they subject us to all the nightmarish horrors of their... oh, they died already. Man, some of the random shootouts earlier were harder than this. It's almost like most of the challenge in a shooter comes from finding cover and prioritising targets, and therefore if there's only one dude shooting at you and for you to shoot at, you can just hold the mouse pointer over them and wait for them to stop moving. Was that really what this was all leading up to, game? Oh, I couldn't possibly comment. Anyway, now story mode's over, let me walk you through all the ways you're going to be grinding to make numbers go up for the rest of your fucking life. How about piss off, Borderlands 4? I'm mad now. It's not just dreary, it's fucking insolent to expect people to buy top-of-the-line hardware to play play the same repetitive drivel as always. Nothing in Borderlands 4 stands out as a must-see moment or unique selling point. The most that could be said is that it once again presents lots of wonderful opportunities to shoot Jason Voorhees in a scrapyard, as well as shoot Jason Voorhees' dog in the field behind the scrapyard. And if you ask nicely, also some robots in the decommissioned Amazon warehouse that the City Authority will shortly be rezoning as a scrapyard. And you could recreate the experience playing basically any other Borderlands game, or alternatively, another repetitive shooter game entirely, as long as you spend the whole time listening to a looping tape of an ill-conceived improv comedy night hosted by professional wrestlers.